So you've got the message, right, that it's recording.
Yeah, got it.
So I'll start a bit rusty. It's been a long time, but let's begin. Guys, welcome to another and a restarted episode of Quad podcast. It's called the Football Clubhouse, if you've forgotten already. And we've got Mr. Ranjit Bajaj back again for the third time, if I'm not wrong. And I'm pretty excited to get this started off in with him, at least as the season will go on. So we have a lot to talk about, and we will be candid about a lot of things. So welcome to the podcast once again, Mr. Ranjit Bajaj.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, for having me. It's a pleasure, as usual, to always be on Kodkoba, and it's always a pleasure, especially now with so many great things happening for our junior batches, and love to talk about all that, and a lot of controversies also happening. And then especially the what we really need to do.
Right.
Another, what we need to do to get there.
Correct.
The World Cup.
All right. So let's begin with the part of things which I was really excited about. I saw creative. I don't know who made the creative, but it showed the score lines of the Mina Cup. So how was it all about? The score lines were pretty crazy.
You didn't see the matches?
I missed the matches again. I'm missing.
Okay. So Abhishek, I'll tell you what. I want everyone to go onto our Minerva social media page or even to our YouTube channel. All the matches were shown live by our streaming team there. We especially took our boys there so that we could stream the matches live. Okay. And not only that, we made sure that all the highlight packages were available. So this was to show the people what the quality of football was. In fact, after this, I'll send you the highlight packages as well.
I'll link it down in the description.
Yeah, you can link it and you can tell them exactly what I was talking about. See, it was a great experience. The teams there were like for the under 16s, Reliance had also taken its team. They lost in the semifinals. So the Pumas from Mexico were there. We had from England, we had the Rail Wolves Premier League Academy. They were there. Then there were at least 8 other teams there were all 4 continents participating, 8 other teams from all over the place. We had champions of Indonesia there. In fact, the guy who was the TD of that team was Paul Munster, who was earlier our head coach as well in the I-League. So we moved there, and then that team was there. So all the best youth teams were there. Now, in Barcelona's case, they had 4 of their main players who play in the Barcelona's main squad. They have 12 players, so 8 of them had gone for the tournament in Spain, which was happening in Barcelona that time. Right. So there were 4 players who were in the main squad. So that it was a 7v7. So they put the 3 best UAE players as well there in that team. Then the champions of UAE under 12 were there, so who we beat 6-0. So it was a great way to test against not only Asia's best, but the world's best. So the whole point was to show how far our development has gone, not to the world, but to us, to ourselves. Right. So it could have been a real game. It could have been a real wake-up call for us as well, that, this is how far you are back, because we had no idea what was going to happen. Or it could have been, okay, we are almost there or some abouts, or we are ahead of our time. So now when we know, when some people say, oh my God, you didn't go to Spain or you didn't go there and beat them. How much did our Indian national team lose to UAE by? 6-0. Right. We've just gone and beaten the champions of UAE 6-0. Right. So we took revenge for that.
The little guys took the revenge.
Yeah. And then when they say that, Indians can't play football, I urge all Indians to go and see how we played against Barcelona. We beat them in their own game in tiki-taka. We beat the other clubs in their own game of high pressing. Somebody tried to do the same against us, and we totally outshone them. Man City's junior team was there. So they didn't reach the finals because they lost to the Laliga Academy, who we played in the final and beat 4-0. They lost to them in the semi-finals, Man City. In penalties, they lost to them. Okay. We had also taken a Man City team earlier on in a friendly match there. We drew with them 0-0, and it was a friendly, so it didn't count, but we gave opportunity to all our boys. Right. But they actually used to play like Man City. They were actually having inverted fullbacks, the little boys being inverted, and they were actually doing it and taking beautiful passing going on. Then when our boys were able to match up, the effect was so good that by the end of it, we had over 200 Indian football fans supporting us. The entire Manja Panda crew was there.
Yeah.
And they were amazed because they had seen in the same Mina Cup and other cups which happen in Dubai, a lot of teams from India come, like, for
Right.
example, Reliance. And they are always, being thrashed by these teams. So when the Goras saw us play, they were amazed. For example, the biggest compliment I got was from Teddy Sheringham. And he was the brand ambassador of the tournament. And when a legend like that comes and tells you that, oh my God, you got a good thing going, Ranjit, better not stop it, go on. Because these boys will do something huge for India. Because I've never seen boys of this age, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, play at this level with such maturity.
Right.
Then Joe, who knows his football, Joe Morrison, who knows his football really, really well, and we all know Joe Morrison, we love him. He especially came out and he said the same things. So, and these are both people who don't need to, like, for example, Joe Morrison says it like I said, it's a spade is a spade. So he will tell me that
he's direct.
9 years. Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be beating around the bush. He doesn't give a rat's ass. And then Teddy Sheringham doesn't give a rat's ass about me, man. Who the fucking Minerva and where you coming from, and So especially coming up to me and making sure he asked the coach who's the owner and coming up to me and telling me that, because he said to us, India's next next sleeping superpower, but we just been sleeping for too long. He says, he told me, he says, I remember we were doing some study and we were talking about Asians in football, and I was doing a study. And he says, Indians beat Japan in the 1960s. And I said, yes. In the 1970s, you were beating France. I said, yes. He said, there's something wrong then with the way football is run in India. But this gave us a great fill up. See, what we know now is as long as we give these boys proper exposure. So it's about here. For example, when you play, if the first time when Sunil Chetri and the entire best of Indian teams, suppose they go and play Bayern Munich, the conversation which will be happening in the dressing room before going for the match is that, okay, how do we make sure that this is not an embarrassment to us, and how to make sure we don't. There'll never be a talk of, okay, let's thrash Bayern Munich today, man. There'll never be a talk of that because they know it's impossible. Why? Because that's what they believe, and they've never done it before. There's a very big thing of mentality, muscle memory, man. That if you know you've done it before, then it's not a big deal because you've done it before. You've proven to yourself you can do it. Now, my aim is to take these boys every single year till the year 2030 abroad and make them play against the best clubs of their age group. Okay. So if we are every year able to go and keep this performance up or even match with them, that means after 10 years, they would have had a game time exposure of all the major clubs in the world and they would have beaten them. So when they actually go and play them, it will not be that it's going to be an overwhelming performance because they'll say, oh, we beat Barcelona 5-0 when we were this, we beat them 3-0 when we were 15, we beat them 2-0 when we were under 18. So what, we'll beat them right now, man.
Exactly. So when they beat them at that tender age, so they have it set in their mind that we actually can do it. We don't care if they have that kind of history or something like that. We did it and we're going to do it again. So
for example,
they'll go in the match.
Yeah, for example, our hockey team, our junior hockey teams, when they play against Germany, they say we're going to thrash them. Why? Because our senior team thrashes them.
Exactly. It's here at the end of the day. Right.
So the whole aim is to take these boys abroad. So now what we are trying to do was show everybody the proof of concept. That the concept is right and what we've been doing, development is right, and to prove it to ourselves that we are on the right journey. Now, if we are able to continue with this, and that will happen with hopefully a corporate coming on and supporting this dream, because see, and people have to understand, I can never make money of these players, my World Cup batch. See, the whole point is getting them to a foreign academy by the age of 16.
Right.
If they do not get there, they're never going to make the leap to a foreign club. If Indians actually think that if you score 50 goals in the ISL, you think Man City will pick you up? No, they will not, man.
They won't, of course not.
Exactly. But if that boy who's gone from my academy at the age of 15 to Man City academy and he's scoring 3 goals a day there or 2 goals a day, they'll put him in the senior. Then they will do, after the progression is right, because he's their academy boy.
And then
I'll never make,
he's induced to all the philosophies there.
But I'll never make money of it. So they have to understand why private people don't have academies at this age is because there's no way they can make money of it. So whose job is it? whose job is it to do this? Yes, you got a crazy fucker like me who's doing it. Okay, he's spending time, he's doing this and he's fighting the battle.
We are glad.
Yeah, and that's why there are no other crazy fuckers like me, because what I'm doing is crazy. But whose job is it? It's AIFF's job. Now, today, an article came out. Today means a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Mihir Vasdeva wrote the article. Mihir knows his stuff, and Indian Express.
Right.
And it says that shocking news that AIFF's budget has been cut by 1/6. That means it's not 1/6. It's not been cut by 1/6. It's become 1/6 of what it used to be.
Right.
You know what the budget is? It's 5 crores for the entire country. That's yachting. Yachting gets more than football now. Forget about athletics, hockey, all those big sports. No, now this become big sports. And football is one of the least funded sports by the government. Now, what has the government said? It's because the pathetic results of the senior team, pathetic is the word they used.
Okay.
That's why they're cutting this money. And they're saying that of this 5 crores, we are allocating 4.9 crores for your junior teams. That means we don't care about your. We want you to spend all this money only on the grassroots. Because where we think AIFF is lacking is grassroots, nowhere else. And they have said it on their faces. Today, this article shows, this news shows that not only me, even the government of India is thinking like that. The earlier, why Praful Patel was not being changed was because the sports ministry had said, okay, fine, let him go on till the sports code goes on. Now they've given an affidavit in court which says that this guy should get out because he's been there for too long. It's been 13 years plus.
Yeah.
And this is wrong. Yeah. Now, I have filed a petition in the Supreme Court and it's going to come up for hearing on 28th April. Okay. Hopefully it's listed. And if it is, hopefully we'll have action on it, because the kind of facts I've given there are mind-blowing about our performance and how these guys are letting us down on a daily basis. For example, we won India had an opportunity to go to the futsal championship, AFC. A few days ago, the matches happened. Who else played? Afghanistan played, man. Maldives played. Nepal played. India didn't play because they didn't send their entry. Because they didn't send our entry, even though we won the national championship, Delhi FC could not go for the AFC futsal championship.
Right, I remember you tweeted at that time. I remember.
They don't understand why this doesn't hurt me anyway. Because see, who's it going to hurt? It's going to hurt the future of Indian football.
Right.
It's not going to help at all. So we really need to make sure. See, everybody keeps on saying, "What can I do? What can I do? What can I do?" Make 10 tweets a day, or make 10 Facebook comments a day, or Instagram, or whatever. Yeah. Make the movement going. We need to change every state FA head who's not doing his job, because the state FAs are the ones responsible for electing the president. As long as, suppose if India was getting a great ranking, man, you think anybody would have been our performance? No. You think anybody would have been after Praful Patel, or anybody would have been listening to me? Or I would have been even talking. Why should I be talking if everything is going great? It's great for me. It's great for all of us.
Of course.
But we can see, I don't want to die a man who doesn't see India in the World Cup. And this is one common dream we all have as Indians. And forget about we should be winning the World Cup, man. We should be the top contenders for it. Why? Because we are the top contenders for every single sport in the world now. And I didn't realize it. Earlier I should say, okay, fine, we do well here, cricket and all. But just imagine, badminton, we have people, men and women.
Yeah, both.
Top of the world. In tennis, we did it as well. We've been winning Grand Slam titles all over. With Sania and then
Diana. Even the junior team, Rushi Khosla is like...
Now the junior teams are doing so well.
Yeah, they qualified for the Junior Davis Cup recently.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And they've taken out big teams, I think beat Australia or something like that. Yeah. Okay. That's a huge bloody thing, beating Australia. Okay, and then after that, then we've got table tennis. Brilliant. Now athletics, with Neeraj Chopra dominating javelin, man. Oh my God, a sport we Indians. Yes, imagine. Okay, boxing, women and men. Wrestling, again, women and men.
Right.
Okay. Yes, hockey, women and men. So how come in football, it's not about being the best in Asia? We are nowhere even near.
Yeah, basically, we all thought that football would be the dominant sport, but it looks like that it's going down the drain.
See, if somebody had asked me 20 years ago when I was 22, okay, Ranjit, I'll give you a bet. Okay. Will you win an athletics gold medal before in India or a tennis Grand Slam? Or will you think India will get into the top 4 in Asia or semi-final of an Asian Cup? I would have bet my life that obviously, man, football, obviously, because the 1.4 billion of us will have, or hockey, something like that. So in hockey, they did it. In football, we couldn't do it. In hockey, they were as bad. Yeah, so they were as good as what we were in football, and they became as bad as what we were now in football. And then they took it up back again.
Right.
So it's possible.
Right.
So you've got to learn from other sports which are doing well, how to professionalize the sports, how to have a great grassroots movement. Copy BCCI, man. The best thing about BCCI is the grassroots. Okay, for example, no one asks now, when is the next Tendulkar going to come out? There are hundreds of them all over the place. Not because it's great, because they were already there. BCCI just gave them a platform to shine in every district, Right. So you think the Mohammad Salah is not there in India? He's there.
He's just find him out.
Yeah. And again, with a country like India, you can only do it if your national federation does it. It can't be done by a private person. So I can only do so much. Okay. And that is why the aim is so far. So if they had got their act together, we would be already in top 4 in Asia. So instead of when the ISL came in, they shifted their focus and all they had to do, even when the ISL came in, saying that 20% of your players, which they say right now, 2 players have to be of your developmental squad. But developed by who? Not by Minerva Academy. It should be developed by your own academy, man. Developmental squad doesn't mean that you buy it from us. See, now what I'm doing is I'm killing my own business. Because what I'm saying is don't buy players from me, man. Go develop your own.
Right.
And suppose you say 20% has to be your squad and 1 has to start. That means if I know as a team owner, 20% of my team has to come from my academy in every match day, will I invest in my academy or not?
Of course you have to.
So and now what is it? They say, but what is easier? To spend 2 crores and buy a player or spend 2 crores on 20 players and try to develop them? Easier is to just go buy a player.
Right. It cuts out the effort.
But what is that doing? They're taking the easier option. It's costing the same or even more, but there is no development happening because it's just set there for Indian football to see, man. You tell me how many clubs, how many academies from the ISL have produced players who have gone on to play for India.
I can't.
It's been 10 years. Okay. How long have I been here? I started my club after ISL came as a tournament for 45 days.
Yeah.
So I've been there for 7 years. So has ISL. Look at the number of players I produced for all age group teams. Look at them.
Right.
Do I have the money? No. FSDL gave ISL clubs 2 crores a year for every bloody club. That means 20 crores a year they were spending on just their youth teams.
Right.
I spent 1.4 crores for the last 7 years. I produced more players than all of them put together into 10.
It's all about the effort and it's about strategizing in the right way. You're having the right
on investing on the right thing, not looking at. See, football is not cryptocurrency or fucking stock markets where you can make a profit one day, man. Football has to be a long-term development. You think the Japanese are stupid fucks? They're planning for 50 years and 100 years in advance. 100 years, 50 years ka matlab hai they're planning for your great-grandchildren or your grandchildren.
Exactly. They won't be there to see it, but they know that it's going to happen. So they're going to die.
But Japan's only going to win the World Cup if their grandparents plan for it. Here we have our guys saying we'll reach the World Cup in 4 years. 2026, we are there, man. And the next time
I don't understand how they say that, like 2026. Are you crazy?
No, but 2 years ago, bro, in 2018, Praful Patel said what? 2022 will be there playing in Qatar. In 2014, what did they say? 2015, when Praful Patel came in. 2018 will be playing the World Cup.
How? Who will
you are not able to get in the top 4 in Asia. How will you get top 8, top 16 in Asia? You're not able to qualify for the Asian Cup. That means the top 32 nations of Asia. Okay. So, sorry, 16. Okay. So if you're not able to get in 16 of Asia, how can you get into top 32 of the world? First, get your thing right around it. Now, don't look for the top when you can't even get here. So learn from who? Learn from Vietnam, a country which is 100 times smaller than us, but who've done 100 times better than us in football with 100 times less money spent than us.
Right.
Learn from them. PVF Academy is now better than Aspire or La Masaya, for example. Why? Because the entire Vietnam team comes from that one single academy. Why? Because all they did was spend all the money from FIFA grants on that academy.
Right.
And they almost qualified for the World Cup this time. And the average age of that team is 21 and a half.
So it's all the youth. It's all the youth. It's like,
So they won the under 16s. They won the under 16s,
okay.
Asia. The finalists in the under 19s, the same batch. The same batch has gone on, almost qualified, lost by 2 points, 1 point last match.
Yeah, they just grew up. Like those kids just grew up and they went for the senior one.
Right? Yes, now that entire batch.
Yeah.
See, if you have a team playing together for 10, see, my team played together for 2 years, and then they got this expensive team, Indian under 17 World Cup team. I call it an expensive team because they spent 20 crores on the team before they met Minerva. Okay. So they had taken them to 20 country tour, and they spent 20 crores because the Indian government had given them the budget कि हमारी बेइज्जती ना करवाना, हमारा World Cup है. वहाँ जाके करवा के वापिस आए, कहते हैं चलो मिनर्वा से मैच खेलते हैं. मिनर्वा से under 17 में they lost under 17 also Indian 15 and under 15 Indian team also. Then they selected our players.
Right.
So why they saw our players earlier? Why didn't they scout better? When we were the national champions of India, why didn't they take our players earlier?
Yeah, you got in that year won all the championships in all age groups. So,
yes, so we won under 13.
Like, why didn't they come to you?
I don't know. That's what you have to ask them. That they can answer. Why didn't you go to him? Why don't you learn from me? So I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm not saying I'm doing something great.
But I'm just
copying what I'm doing is I'm copying what other successful people in other countries who made it have done. And it's not rocket science. Again and again, I keep telling everyone, anyone who opens an academy, which is a residential academy, which kids can train from an early age, will succeed. Yes. The money needs to be spent on 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, not on your senior team. Yes, you will have to wait for 7, 8 years for the results to come. But if you
have to water the plant
100 times the money, and say I want to win the league title because I want to buy the players, your country will never go forward.
That's true. Like you have to, once you put the seed in, you have to water it, and you have to wait, and you have to consistently water it until it becomes.
You want to have fruit. You want to have fruit. You can't just put the seed in and say I want fruit tomorrow.
Yeah,
you wait for the fruit to grow up.
Yeah,
look after it, make sure it then it fruits, then it flowers, then it fruits. So you have to wait for the batch. Nothing is instantaneous.
Right. So what would your suggestion be in this case? Like, because of course, very crucial players like Chhetri has been losing his years because of these things.
One change. That's it. Just one change will revolutionize Indian football.
Yeah.
20% of all squads have to come from your own academy. Simple. And when you say your own academy, that they have to be there for at least 5 years, not 1 year.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. So we will start putting this rule in after 5 years. So we give all academies time. For 5 years, develop your players. After that, 20% of the first squad will be from your academy.
Right. Yeah, that can be it.
Overnight.
That can be one. Exactly.
See, they already have a rule that if you're in the I-League or ISL, you have to play the under 13, 15, 18. They've had the rule now.
Right.
But how do you make sure they actually do some? Now teams are just running it for the reason of just running it and saving maximum money. They're not paying attention to them.
Like I don't understand like what money are they saving for, because like even though they're winning the leagues and everything, they're not actually.
I'll tell you why. See, I'll tell you why. So that 2 crores which used to go to the ISL clubs, out of that they should spend probably 40-50 lakhs on the teams, and they didn't care a shit about their performance. But the 1.5 crores used to probably play for that Roy Krishna's extra bonuses that year.
I mean, that doesn't actually make sense. Like I might be wrong, but I feel not a single ISL club is profitable, like from a business standpoint. They're burning money.
So one of my friends did a very good study. In fact, it was his PhD study, and he's in England right now. And I'll share that also with you after this. The study is on. He did RTIs, and he found out each and every profit and loss account of every club in India of the ISL. Every club, as Parchindal said, every club in the ISL is losing money, and they've been losing money for the last 7 years straight. Okay, the only 2 clubs who are showing no loss but no profit also, no loss for the last 3 years, has been Bengaluru and Jamshedpur.
Yeah, now, I was thinking Jamshedpur would be there.
Two factors. one factor, 80% of their loss is covered up by their own parent body by putting Tata here or putting JSW here.
Yeah, so these
So
are big
sponsorship
corporate
money,
entities.
so that's not actually sponsors.
Yeah,
That's using your own name there and saying, okay, my company is giving 8 crores or 10
yeah,
crores. So that's not actually a profit. Okay, that's your loss. That's your company's money going in.
yeah. Overall, it's
Yeah,
it's
but the
interesting.
other 20% is because Bangalore has its own academy, and 20% of his players are coming there from there.
Right.
Bangalore has produced players which have gone on from their academy to their senior team.
Right.
Great.
Yeah,
Otherwise, Jamshedpur used to have Tata Football Academy.
yeah,
TFA is
yeah.
now defunct. Is defunct. All Tata Centers of Excellence are now defunct. They
Why?
used to have a budget of over 8 crores on Tata Centers of Excellence all over India.
Exactly.
And all has been shut down because TFA has been shut down and all the money has gone to Jamshedpur. Because their board made a decision that we can't spend on youth and an ISL team. So what did they choose? ISL. And what has been the holy grail of Indian football? Tata Football Academy.
Exactly. So many players. Like even when I was
So,
small, I used to hear about it.
Abhishek, tell me now, since the ISL has come in, how many players has Tata Football Academy produced? Think about it.
Yeah, actually, when you actually think on those lines, like you usually don't think about it on a regular basis.
Zero. So even if you were
Really?
running, I'm saying even if you were running, they would
Yeah.
have still produced Galti se 1 or 2.
Hmm.
Because they're not, okay, fine. No, we are doing it because it's the same thing. Jamshedpur Football Junior Academies and Tata Football Academy is the same thing. We've just changed the name. Okay, well enough. How many players has Jamshedpur Academy produced? Zero. How
Yeah.
many titles has Jamshedpur Academies won in national titles? Under 13, under 15, like we won 9.
Yeah.
Under 13, under 15, under 18. How many have they won? Zero. How many times has Jamshedpur FC been champions of their own group, which is of that area,
Right.
which is of 3 states? Zero.
Something is wrong, man. Something is wrong. And it's sad. It's sad, to be honest, as a football fan. It's sad to see what's happening and what we as football fans aspire.
Yes,
Not
Abhishek,
getting.
it pains me because I used to love the Tata Football Academy, and my dream was, and like any other Indian footballer's dream at that age, that I want to be in TFA. I want to be in TFA. So I've been trying to say that we need 100 TFAs or 100 Minervas or 100 Bangalore FCs.
Right.
And here, the ISL is responsible for shutting down youth development. And all they have to do is make one rule which will change the entire face of Indian development. They've already said 2 players, but why not just take it further and say that it has to be from your academy? That's developmental players means developed by you, not by buying them of other academies.
Yeah. Of course. But like you said, the 5-year plan, which might be just started now, and we can tell them that, yeah, you have got 5 years, but 5 years later, you have to have 20% from your team, from your academy. So that would work fine. But what do you think? What would be
So why are they not doing it? Because ISL owners, FSDL, right now don't know whether they're going to be still the top league in India in 5 years. Everything might just change because the contract runs out in a couple of years. So unless the contract is renewed, nothing's going to happen.
All right. So this is a very
so if they invest money here on their own, and they don't get it, so they care about their own money being wasted, because why should we develop Indian football if you're not going to be in charge of Indian football 20 years early?
Right.
So this is what happens when corporates come in. These are the dangers you have to face. They never think about the country first. Your national federation has to think about the country first because it's your federation. Whereas if a corporate in charge, is very tough. Why? Because it's not their fault as well. Because if I am the CEO of ISL or FSDL or whatever, I've been given a mandate that I have to get so many crores out of this place from this much time, because this is what our investment is. Yeah. And I want an ROI, return on investment, of this much percent.
So we can't really blame them as well. They're doing a business.
Can't blame them. We have to blame AIFF for selling it to them. But now it's sold. We have to convince FSDL that now you're the owners of the Indian football. Now, okay, fine, you owners. But make sure you develop Indian football now, but put money in the grassroots.
Right.
So why the fuck is it in ISL Youth Development League, which is happening now? Why couldn't they have done all under 21 teams in India, even I League clubs, second division clubs? Why? Because they knew that they were going to be thrashed by Delhi FC or Minerva. That is why they knew it. Because they didn't want to be embarrassed by teams like Minerva Academy. Because they knew that if they play us, we'll thrash them.
Right.
Or what is the reason? Second reason can be that they don't want to spend money on ISL clubs. Why? Isn't it the same ecosystem? Aren't these are the players who go to... So they don't understand. See, Abhishek, it's so... Just want to bang my head. Yeah. They buy all their players from I-League, but they don't want to develop I-League. They don't understand if you develop I-League, you'll get better players for ISL.
Right.
Whose value
just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
Yes, because I-League players will go to ISL and ISL will improve if those I-League players are good players. But if you make I-League crap, the players who will come from there will be crap. And then your ISL will be crap.
Exactly. If you destroy the feeders, anyway, they're not going to go to the top. So
21 youth development league which ISL is doing, why couldn't they have done a national league? Because they are in charge of India, na? They have taken everything over. Then why discrimination against I-League clubs or second division clubs or other academies who are running, who will work? If they opened it up, at least 100 academies in India would have taken part.
Yeah, of course. Academies are waiting to make sure that their boys get a place to play.
Yeah, we need game time. There is no game time available.
Right. So if the National Federation, I'm sorry to say, if they are not doing it, and FSDL is not doing it, so we don't really have anyone else to do it right at the moment, other than you, of course. You are doing it, everybody knows that, but other than you, there's no one who's actually pushing it.
That's why I told you in the beginning that you need a crazy, either you need a crazy fucker like me, or you need the federation to man up, because it's not the job of... See, and me as a football lover would love to just be focused on my senior team, man. It's not that I don't do well. I win every tournament which I take part in. Every second tournament I take part in my senior team also. So I go to Durand Cup, even in the 4th division team, which Delhi FC was at that time. We can beat ISL clubs because that's the way we play football. But I know that my dream and legacy is not going to be winning I-League titles.
It's going to see the national team do well.
Yep. No, not do well, man. We got to get into the World Cup and win it. And getting into the World Cup is going to be my gift.
I remember you told me.
I want those boys, because these boys, when they play the World Cup, will be all 22, 23 and all. So even if they don't do well the first World Cup, by 38 or by 42, expect them to win it.
Right.
They would have been playing top class football for the last 30 years, then 25 years. Right. Because of the pathway I put up for them.
Yeah. So even if we start like today, like Chuck this year, like maybe 2023 we start. So we have a good 15 years if we can actually pull this off.
Yes. We have to see, but you have to start. Exactly. You have to start. That dream will only come. And once you start, the journey is on.
Yeah.
Simple.
Exactly. So, like to all the viewers, I would urge everyone to like think about it. Maybe if you're an academy owner or something like that, like the football community is big. So like we should share all the information. We should help each other out. And if not anyone else, let us start off this thing. So it's no point waiting for someone to do it for us. We
need to take action. We need to take action. See, you got to ask yourself, what did I contribute?
Yeah, exactly.
What did I contribute to India's dream? So it can be that I made a campaign where we supported the Women's World Cup team, and we were talking about them, and we were making sure that people knew about them. That can be good enough. Right. Or I run a page like you are doing right now. What you are doing right now is a contribution to our future, because the more people come to know about this for starting up is the same. So then, or coaches. So we've got Association of Football Clubs and Academies, which is my association, and that's for helping these grassroots academies. Join AFCAI or academies, join AFCAI. We'll tell you exactly how to progress. We're going to be having youth leagues ourselves. We are going to be doing youth under 13, under 15, under 18. So like you said, they're not going to do it. We're going to do it. The only thing is that the moment we start doing it, I know that AIFF is going to butt in and say that you can't do it. So, if they were doing it and you tell somebody not to do it, it's a big thing. But I mean, you don't want to do it yourself and you don't let other people do it as well. So how are you?
You really feel handcuffed, man. Like when I'm listening to it, I feel like I want to do something, but like, at the end of the day, I'm going to be stopped.
See, the sad part is the people who make it the most difficult are the ones who are supposed to make it the most easy for us. The ones who are the biggest impediment to Indian football are the ones who are running Indian football. And I'm not talking about the employees of AIFF. I'm just talking about the top brass. I'm talking about Kushal Das. I'm talking about Praful Patel.
Yeah.
These guys need to get out.
So something recently did happen like on those lines. So sad to see.
See, I know. I tweeted about it as well, but I won't be able to talk too much about it because
Yeah,
now it's going to go through. But the point is that it's so sad to see that starting from crimes of corruption to conflict of interest to molestation and sexual harassment to our Indian World Cup women's team being this much away from getting to the World Cup and not doing it because of the competences of this guy, to nepotism and favoring only your relatives. And I'm not talking about AIFF, I'm talking about all the state FAs. So it's there in every state FA. For example, in UP, the president of UP, this is a few years ago, he died a couple of years back. Now his son is the guy in charge. So the president of UP, he was blamed by his under 14 girls team, national team, of sexual molestation. There was an FIR registered. He was actually arrested and he was still the president. Praful Patel didn't remove him. The moment he got bail, within 2 months, he was having fun in Europe with Praful Patel, Kushal Das and him in a FIFA World Congress. So they used to reward people like that. That is why this was happening.
It's sad to see, sad to hear, man. Like I don't have access to these information, but when you get to know it, even though I can't voice out anything, but it feels bad.
But it's so, see, it really leaves a very bad taste in your mouth, man. I mean,
exactly.
Football fans, for coaches, everybody, that, I've seen so many comments of people saying that, I really wanting to quit Indian football after listening to this. I just really so sick of it. I'm just wanting.
Yeah, it made me sick from inside. And I was like, what am I doing?
What happens? What do? You give up?
No, you can't give up.
Exactly.
You can't give up.
You can't. See, freedom is never given. Freedom is taken.
Right.
And who do we need freedom from? We need freedom from these guys. Who needs freedom? We do. Who? We means this entire country, all the football fans of this country have to unite. You have to understand, when Mohan Bagan and East Bengal were with the ISL clubs, even FSTL, Reliance, Ambani's, no one could touch ISL. The moment those two clubs, what are those clubs? Those clubs are nothing except their fans. Okay? Exactly. The fans are the clubs. And their fans make up them. And even their organizers or owners or whatever you call them, directors, don't understand the power of fans. Those fans went away from us because the clubs went away and ISL collapsed and were made into second division. So even if we have unity in the clubs or if we have unity in the fans, anything can be changed. For example, they made them now drop the ATK name, apparently. Yeah. Apparently they've done it. And if they've done it, it's the victory for the fans.
Yeah, of course the fans won.
But sadly, ATK fans lost.
So that's also unfair. That's also unfair.
That's very unfair. See, they were loyal to ATK. They could have gone to East Bengal, Mohan Bagan, Mohammedan. They chose ATK. They took all the brickbats and the abuses of those fans for 5-7 years. Right. And this is how they were paid back by a corporate, because corporates don't understand what fans are.
Yeah, they just took ATK fans for granted, and they were like, yeah, fine, they're not a problem. Let's just deal with the Mohan Bagan fans now. So, exactly. So if I were an ATK fan, I would spend
again, you would feel so demoralized and probably say, I don't want to
club. It's like losing your own club. Right? Nothing like you're supporting it for 7 years and then suddenly your club is no more. And that too, I have nothing to do.
And who took it away from you? Your club. Your own club took it away from you.
Yeah.
So same, I can see the same why the Delhi Dynamo's fans, the ultras, and they were feeling so bad. And that's why they started supporting us and became Delhi FC fans, because they knew that we will never pack up and leave because we get a better deal somewhere, man. That's not what you do. Tomorrow you come and you don't come and say, okay, tell your dad, mom, okay, mom, dad, I'm going. Why? Because this dad has offered me a better house and a free car and a free thing. So I'm now,
that's not how fandom works.
So that's again. So corporates. See, understand? It looks all glitzy and glamoury because when they come in with a bang, and we're going to
with suits and all, with ties and everything.
Yep. And then when it comes down to the tracks, this is what happens. A true club would never do this. Like, can you believe Mohan Bagan saying that we don't want to play in Calcutta anymore? East Bengal, Mohammedan Sporting, any of them, that we don't play in Calcutta anymore. Because why? Because Mumbai has given us a free stadium, so we're now going to be Mumbai FC. Mohan Bagan FC is dead. No, man, it can never happen.
They would play in some locality ground, but they would be there.
They will never leave Kolkata. Exactly. So, again, corporates.
Yeah, and the good part about the ISL matches were like when ATK used to play, East Bengal fans and Mohan Bagan fans, they both used to go. And just imagine the kind of crowd and the rowdyism that used to happen there. And if you are some club like away team there at Salt Lake Stadium, all the best to you. I've been there.
I've been through that. Bro.
Yeah, so that atmosphere is like, it's daunting. It's like Anfield, I would say, at least for India. It's like Anfield.
It truly is.
So just like ending thoughts on this episode, like what do you make of? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, what do you make of the current situation of Indian football at the moment? There's a lot of things are going on, good things, bad things, but it's a mix.
Yeah,
it's a mix.
Very big mix with this Mina Cup victory with Mumbai City winning our first ever match. Has to be a first ever match in the Champions League,
right?
And then drawing with big clubs. That's a great start. It shows that Indians are not far off, and all we need is more game time. See, 18 games are not good enough a year. We need to be playing 38, 40 games a year or even more. But that can only happen if you have 20 clubs. You've got to start the promotion and relegation as soon as possible. You want to see Indian football develop, focus on grassroots. The moment one decision, 20% of your team's developmental squad, that will do the grassroots part. Add I-League 5 clubs to the ISL, 20 clubs there, sorted. Have another second division to the I-League. Have I-League as a second division sorted. Third division becomes all the states who are there in India. Yeah. That is the third division. The champions of that team becomes the third division. Fourth division, all districts, fourth division.
Right, it's a good ecosystem. It's a balanced ecosystem.
And how will it be? It will actually be like this because
exactly a proper pyramid, like the feeders.
Yes, there at district clubs. There will be like 5,000 district clubs, and then there will be like 30 state leagues. So there'll be like 300 state leagues clubs, and then there'll be the second division of 40 clubs or something like that, 30 clubs. Then there'll be the top league. There'll be 20 clubs. It'll be perfect, and we already see the ecosystem doesn't have to be created. The structure is there. You have to just follow it, man. Exactly. You have to tell every district that unless you have a district league, you will not be allowed to vote or not get any funds. They start doing it. You tell every state you can only vote and have funds from AIFF or do anything with AIFF if you organize what your state league, senior and junior men and women. And what is the duty of a state association? That is the only duty they have. So please organize that. If that is done, we are on a growth. We can do it. So 4 decisions like this can change Indian football overnight.
Yeah, of course. Like, and when you actually see the pyramid, like most of the people complain that we don't have funds and anything. But when you see that particular pyramid, there would be companies like corporate bodies dying to like invest for advertisement or sponsorship, whatever.
Oh, they would love to. See, if there's a structure, if there's a structure and they know that, and then you have television rights and you have this, and understand, Kerala Premier League has gone for so much of money. Why?
Yeah, right.
It's equal to almost the ISL. Why? Because they know they can make so much of money from what? From just the number of people who are there in Kerala.
Yeah, it's all about fan engagement there.
Imagine what you can do. I've seen matches in Rajasthan in places where 40,000, Kolhapur, 50,000 people, Sikkim, Meghalaya, Manipur, Calcutta, Kerala, Goa, 40, 50,000 people, no problem. For what? For a local match.
Exactly.
Bengal, match between 2 mandals, 40,000 people.
Exactly. Like it's one locality against another, and we have like 5,000-6,000 like spectators minimum there. And there are no professional players even in any of those 11.
And they charge 10 rupees for a ticket, man.
Yeah, and the people I have went for it. I have personally gone for one of those tournaments.
Who says the ecosystem is not there?
Exactly, that's bullshit. It's there. We just don't see it. We just ignore it.
Who? The top body. So they need to do something. And it's not AIFF's fault. It's the leadership of AIFF. It's not state FA's fault. It's the leadership of state FAs. Because who are the ones who are working under? The ones who've all played football or who love football. That's why they joined AIFF or they joined the state FA.
Right. It's all about passion.
Who are the ones who are top? They have never played football in their lives. They don't love football. They're there for different reasons.
So it could be all an ulterior motive for the, like,
Exactly.
sad to say, but yeah.
Exactly. For example, I'll give you another example before I go. I offered a free course to AIFF. So I had been for the last 7 years asking AIFF, how can you be racist towards Indians in India? Because they took out a law in the first 3 years that Indians can't be head coaches of ISL.
Right, right.
I fought against it and they changed it. Doesn't matter, it's because of me or anyone else. They changed it. They said, okay, fine. If he's a pro license, he can be. But he has to assist first for a year. So that means, okay, first to get a pro license, it'll take you a year and a half. Then to assist
it's
another
a huge amount of money if you go abroad and do it.
Yeah, so that will come to later. So that means there are 2 more years added to the minimum 5 years they've taken that no Indian can be coach. So they've been racist towards Indian for India in 5 years. Then only the ones who are able to afford it to cook and go abroad. Why? Because India didn't have a pro license for the last 7 years. Since the ISL started, no pro license course. So abroad, kon gaya? Clifford Miranda gaya. Then Reddy went and Khalid Jamil went. Who had the most money out of these 3 guys? It was Khalid Jamil, and I think he's the one who went to Germany, and the other 2 went to, or maybe Clifford went to Germany, and the other 2 went to Uzbekistan, and it cost them around 20 lakhs each. 20 lakhs.
20 lakhs is a huge amount of
20
money.
lakhs. It's too much because even an ISL coach is paid what 2, 3, 4 lakhs in the Indian coach maximum.
Yeah.
So that means you change 4 years of salary, and it's not even getting it. It's applying for the course, getting it, and passing the exam. You might not pass the exam, you might just go all waste.
Yeah, it's a bet. It's a bet.
Yeah. So how many Indian coaches can afford that?
It's numbers say everything.
Now you have so the total number of pro license coaches in India are probably the ones who are the right age are probably 4 or 5. With this one course, we would have had 5 times the number of pro license coaches. That means within 2 years, entire ISL would have been Indian. Guaranteed.
And it's good for the coaches as well, and good for the whole ecosystem.
So what did I say? I said I'm going to subsidize my cost. That means the organizer's cost, which is going to be around 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees per coach, which is going to be into 24, a hit of 48 lakhs for me. But I was willing to do it. But why? Because this is the cream of India. This is the cream which is going to get us there.
Right.
Because they are the best India has. So what did AIFF do? AIFF gave it to CFA, Chandigarh Football Association, which is not Punjab football. This is other.
Yeah, I understand.
I was earlier in our very first year, and I changed to Punjab Football Association after getting into 2nd division. Why? Because if I wanted game time or junior football or senior football, nothing happens in Chandigarh. They didn't even have a league. Nothing is still defunct. There's no senior league, junior league, girls league, boys league. There's nothing here. So I went to PFA where everything's organized. At least there's a senior league there, man.
Right.
So for game time. Now, the CFA has never done, Chandigarh Football Association has never done a B or a B or a license. They've not even done a C license. They've only done D licenses. How many probably in the last 2 years? They've done 4 or 5. I have done 19 D licenses in the last 1 year. 19. We've done 3 C licenses and equivalent. That means goalkeeping level 1 license.
Right, right.
So we have the experience, and we have been rated as the best academy in India for goalkeeping, for all licensed courses, because we're the only ones who have the entire structure in one place. You don't need anything else to go out of the place. So all the coaches were really happy. But when we came to know about it, why it went to them was because again and again, AIFF doesn't follow any rules. They've got conflict of interest all over the place. They give tenders to companies without giving tenders. That means they have an internal logistics department. But on the bloody books, giving open payments. No one's there to question them. And they have an internal logistics department to do this for them, but they hire a company from outside to take care of all India's travel, international needs, hotel management, hotels needs. Everything is done by that one particular company. And this pro license is being done by them. So this entire 48 lakhs, which I was going to take a hit, is now the hit is going to be taken by who? All those 24 coaches. And who's going to make the money? That company.
So the agency goes away with all the money.
And who they take it away from? Our coaches. And who's done it to them? Our federation. Who do I mean the federation? Kushal Das. Why? Because he's got a special interest relationship with that company, which will be revealed later by me later on. And they've been doing it for the last 7-8 years.
Right. So a lot is going on. Of course, people like me, we don't get to know it, but it's happening. So, I really don't have anything to say. I'm kind of speechless. Being a neutral in this place, it's really tough to take it all in. But yeah, people should know, and I got to know as well. So that's about it.
Well, let's end this on a great note. We won the Mina Cup. We thrashed some
Yeah.
of the best teams in the world.
Right.
We'll be going abroad again very soon. Everyone will know about it. Within 6 months, we'll be taking another trip abroad. Again, hopefully we'll be coming back with a trophy again. This is the first time an Indian under-12 team has won an international trophy. First time in the history of India.
Right.
Next time they'll be
We
playing
should
under-13
celebrate
trophy.
it.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, man. So it's on the right. That means it shows we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Keep following us and keep supporting those boys. We're going to make you proud.
Absolutely. And to all the viewers, just stick around because I'll be giving all the links to the highlight reels in the description. So just make sure that you watch it. Don't miss it. And also, thank you, Mr. Ranjit Bajaj, for taking out time. Of course, I know you've been busy with all the cups and all the licensing courses. So thank you so much. It means a lot to get like so much of your time for this podcast. And I hope you have enjoyed, as has been very informative for me, and I'm sure for the viewers as well. It has been a good one.
Thank you so much for having me, brother. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. Like, share, subscribe right now, guys. Love you all. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.